And in the contract that has got your initials and his initials here, it says 2,500 rands.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm not disputing that. But what I'm telling you, if you listen to me carefully, I said from 2010, 2011, that's when I promoted Rodney to the first team.
Today, though, it's a different Throwback Thursday, isn't it? Because we had Rodney Ramagalela come on the show a couple of weeks ago. Rodney Ramagalela is a former Black Leopards and Mamelodi Sundowns striker who had fallen on hard times after his home had burnt down. He had lost everything in that home. And subsequent to that, he had devastating news at the passing of his daughter and his beloved father and mom as well, in fact, yeah? And he's had a hard time recovering from all of that. And in that conversation, one of the questions I asked Rodney Ramagalela was, in and around finances, we all speculate for most of it, because contracts in South Africa, for the most part, are private. So we all speculate as to what they get. And I got an opportunity to speak to somebody who has fallen on hard times, and I asked, with the money that you made, particularly at Sundowns, you know, and in your career, as short as it was that able to sustain you, and how far was it able to sustain you? To which Rodney answered that his time at Sundowns was a bit short-lived, so, you know, it wasn't as much as he would have loved it to be. But at Black Leopards, where he spent the beginnings of his career till he came to professional football, he was only getting paid 2,500 rands a month. To which I gasped, of course, because at the level to which you're playing, which at the time was the MFC, what is now known as the MFC, back then the NFD, which is the second tier of South African football, the first division, that's the division just under the PSL. He was getting paid 2,500 rands, he said. This, of course, to the Black Leopards executive and owners of the club, the TDL family, they felt that they were being misrepresented and they would love a right of response to this. Rodney Ramagalela, when we called him, stuck to his guns and said, no, I will not offer an apology to something that I know to be true. So today, we have to give a right of response to the TDL family. And I think when a chief that's going to come on, a friend of the room, we enjoy having Chief on the show, so he's going to come on. He's been here several times. One of those people that is always honest with us when it comes to what it looks like as far as the finances of football. Black Leopards chairman at the moment, Chief Tidiela, he'll come on, but he's not alone. He's going to come on with the manager at the time when Black Leopards signed and drafted the contract of Rodney Ramagalela, Samo Kapate. So they're going to be coming on and we'll have the conversation. But also the other conversation we're going to be having is with Omar Kaktugba. Omar Kaktugba is one of Africa's best journalists around the world, covering the Euros as we speak, happening in his adopted country of Germany, but also keeping tabs on all things Africa. He's a UEFA and a CAF accredited journalist who sits in newsrooms with the likes of Pep Guardiola, Jose Mourinho, and the likes. He's the first to speak to players when a match is over. That's where we get to see it, and he broadcasts to the broader Africa. This is Africa's show, so we love it. Nigeria don't have a coach at the moment because of the poor results in the qualifiers. What are his thoughts on that, the Euros, but also how do Nigerians feel about the fact that a Pitso Mosimane, a South African coach, is available for them? These are conversations that have happened before. All of that coming up. It's 15 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. Welcome to it. Games earlier today was Slovenia versus Serbia. That ended 1-1. A goal in the 69th minute from Kasinovic, and Jovic, I think it was, scored in the 95th minute, the last kick of that game there. There is currently a game underway right now. It's Denmark versus England. 14 minutes have been played, and it's still 0-0. Big game, this Denmark versus England. The later game will be, what's the latest game? Spain, Italy. Yeah, that's a big one. Spain, Italy at 9 o'clock in that Group B clash there. This is a Group C clash between Denmark and England. Remember, if you're looking at what happened in Group C, England with 3 points after the first game. Slovenia now have 2 points after 2 collected. Denmark still with a single point, and Serbia also with a single point. It's 16 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. We're going to be speaking to Black Leopards in a moment. We're going to be checking in with them and giving them their right of response. But also, have you seen how many teams have released players? Skukun has released, 12 players? Chippa United, about 16 players have been let go. We spoke about Kanye Samayo with Coach September when he was here. So no surprises there. But I'm very surprised in Andile Benyane being released by Chippa United. very, very surprised to see that happening. I thought he'd be one of those players that, at some point will move into some sort of role in a club. He's been with that club for so long. You got to understand one point of it, though, from the club's point of view. Hasn't played a lot of football either. So, yeah, that was one of the big shockers of the news today. Do we have Omar? Not Kanyisa Mayo, man, actually. It's Kanyisile, the brother. Thank you, Basha. Kanyisile, the brother. But we had a conversation with the coach about him, and he said, he's got an injury that he just never got over. It's an injury that, still bugs him till today, and he hasn't been able to surface above it, as Kanyisile Mayo. That injury is still bugging him there. Hopefully, he's at some point able to get some semblance of a football career. It was a promising one at the beginning of it all. There has been a goal scored in the Euro match between Denmark and England. It's England that takes the lead. Harry Kane gets his first goal of the Euros. It's 1-0 to England. Omar, I'm pretty sure you're watching this game. Welcome. Harry Kane scores his first goal.
Yes, I just left the living room and then they told me England scored. I'm upstairs, but I was watching it. That's what you expect, England to win, England to score, so no surprises.
I mean, every single tournament it's coming home with England. I'm looking at this squad here. It looks like a pretty good squad, but I wonder if they're anywhere near the top squads. Maybe looking at what Germany have been doing, you take a look at maybe not Belgium as much, Spain also not as much. Does this give them a bit of a heads up to say it could be coming home? This is their best chance for it to come home.
To be honest, they've not played too well. And it's typical England. They come to a tournament, with all the hype. And then when the tournament starts, you start to wonder if this is the England we all talked about before the tournament. In their first game against Serbia, scored one goal. They really didn't do much. I mean, so far, what I've seen, they really haven't done much in terms of controlling the game. But, they scored. Very boring side, so to say. But again, the most important thing is victory. They've got so far 6 points. If it ends this way, and maybe they might just go all the way in this manner. But I'm not so impressed yet with the way they play.
Let's move on from the Euros and talk about the real business of the day. Nigeria in the qualifiers have not been great. When you look at that group and you look at where Nigeria is, it's almost unbelievable that in a group that has Zimbabwe, South Africa, Lesotho, who many Nigerians see as minnows, Nigeria are the ones that are almost languishing.
Absolutely. You put it correctly. It's almost unbelievable. When you look at the table, you're asking yourself, is this Nigeria or another Nigeria somewhere in Africa?
And also, this is a Nigeria that it might not be the strongest Nigerian team, but individually, it's got some of the best players that are playing in Europe from Africa in the world.
Yes, not the strongest Nigerian team, but one of the Nigerian teams with very, very quality players across board, especially going forward. But all this quality haven't really, amount to results. We've seen pictures shown all the time on the internet about our strikers and how Nigeria will blow opponent out of the water. Even at the AFCON, where we reached the final, our strikers wearing the stars. The best player of that tournament was a defender. So the Nigerian team right now is very colorless and not really showing those true characteristics of a Nigerian team. And it's unbelievable. Again, not so much of a surprise when you look at the chaos in Nigerian football right now. Administratively, they say when the head is not right, the entire body will also suffer. Everything rises and falls on leadership. Our leadership right now is almost visionless, and there's so much chaos in that whole setup. Look at how they appointed a coach. It was so much hasty. It was so hasty. And then they appointed a guy who really did not know what it means to coach the Super Eagles.
Who's this? Finidi George?
Nah, Finidi was poor. I said it from day one. After he managed 2 friendly games, Mali against Ghana, Nigeria against Mali, Nigeria against Ghana, how he managed that friendly game was so disappointing, where players who we had always wanted to see play for Nigeria were invited and didn't get 1 minute in 2 international friendly games. That was when I started to campaign for Finidi not to be appointed the Super Eagles coach, but they went ahead to appoint him, and 2 matches later, they fired him. Came in May, went in June. It feels like a quickie.
Oh, Omar. Listen though. There's the thing with unhappiness of players, and we saw it play out in your friend's live Instagram. Victor Osimhen, a man that you call buddy, a man that you split dinners with every now and then. Came out and he was spitting fire. I want to play a little bit of that here. This is Victor Osimhen's rant on Instagram. Then perhaps
I hope your audience can understand him.
Well, that's why we have you here. Let's have a listen to a little bit of what Victor Osimhen had to say.
As the doctor and me, they speak to Finidi. I get the video in which I go post them for my story now when I finish this live. Do you understand? I know they address nothing. I let anyone believe what they won't believe about me. I know they address anything. You understand? I know they address anything. Everybody knows say if I play whether on a club side, whether on for Nigeria, I they play my heart out. I don't care waiting anybody go talk. I do waiting I won't do. I just let everything go. You understand? But I no go allow that disrespect for anybody because I dey respect person before I disrespect the person. I no go allow that nonsense. I no go allow that rubbish. Come put stain on my name. I know they allow that nonsense. I think I don't keep quiet enough. A lot of you all they bring stupid agenda. Osimhen this, Osimhen that. When I don't want to let my name rest on our mouth. Now they talk nonsense.
Victor Osimhen was not happy there. Mentions the coach's name. Speaks a lot there, Omar. Put it into context for us.
I mean, he was basically saying he spoke to the coach that he was injured. His doctor in Napoli spoke to the coach, and then the coach was saying somewhere, not in the news, somewhere, that he will not beg Victor to play for Nigeria. That they were talking nonsense. That everybody is saying things about him. That we should all allow him be. That he doesn't take all this nonsense. And he was saying things like, words that you can't even say on radio.
So the coach went and spoke about how he doesn't basically believe that Victor's injured, and he spoke.
Yes.
Right, now we need to look forward. There's still 18 points to play for. Nigeria can still qualify for the World Cup. Absolutely. This group is still wide open. We spoke to Pitso Mosimane here. Pitso says he's available if Nigeria were to appoint him. He's willing to take the job. He's had engagements with the Nigerian national team via JJ Okocha before.
Yes, I met him in Najran in Saudi Arabia. I think that was just a joke. And he said to me that you guys cannot afford me. I was like, no, we can't afford any coach. Now I'm hearing him say he's available. That's interesting. The truth is people like him in Nigeria. A lot of people believe that being African, he can understand very well the mentality of all of our players. He's also coached, outside, South Africa. He's coached in Egypt, coached in Saudi Arabia. And people believe that he's a quality coach, to be very fair. And that counts for something. I think that if our NFF, instead of them going for an average Conceição or a certain Milutinovic from Serbia, why not go for Pitso Mosimane, who is African, who is top, who has the personality as well? Because you need the personality, the right one, to coach Nigeria. Listen, just like Nigerians, there are a lot of Nigerians in South Africa. Just like Nigerians, the Nigerian footballer is extra difficult to manage. I don't know if you get my point.
But then, what would the general population feel about a South African coach, knowing the rivalry between the two? Do you think that would not be an issue?
I don't think so. People actually like him. And like I said, a lot of people have mentioned his name, saying, he's a good coach. We would like to have him coach Nigeria. I think that what we have for South Africa right now is even respect. Because we are so impressed with the way South Africa in the last few years have developed in terms of the rivalry against Nigeria. So there's so much respect for South Africa, and that makes even people prefer or want Pitso Mosimane more, because they believe that his expertise can help these Super Eagles of Nigeria to reach the next level. And like I said, he has the kind of personality that you need to be able to manage the big egos in the Nigerian dressing room.
What about the big players? Some figures have to wag. I know Victor Osimhen is your friend. You've got Boniface, you've got all these really big names playing for Nigeria. But when you look at how many goals are being scored with one of the best attacks in African football, they win Europa, they win invincibly, win leagues. But when they come to Nigeria, they don't deliver the same. It was the same at the Victor Osimhen. I mean, look at his CAF tournament.
Yes.
Surely at some point you have to look at the players as well, though.
Exactly. I mean, something is fundamentally wrong, to be very honest. I think it's coaching. Because there's no way you tell me you have these names and you can't get results off them. I think it's coaching. And that's why after Ose Pesero, who reached the final of the AFCON, despite reaching the final of the AFCON, I personally wasn't impressed just because of the way we played. We were winning games, we were dominating games, we weren't really playing too well. And that came to roost in the final where Ivory Coast beat us, because we weren't too spectacular. And we thought that we were going to manage that same style and win the AFCON. But having said that, after that episode, they wanted to find a new coach. And then they went for his assistant, who really did not show that he's learned anything from the man in 18 months that he was his assistant. So I believe that it's a problem of management, administrative problem, and of course management problem in terms of team management. Because, like I said, those names are super names. With those names, you should be able to win games comfortably. In 4 World Cup qualifiers, Nigeria have not won anyone. Not one. Drew 3, lost 1. To Benin Republic, in the history of our football, we've not lost to Benin Republic. So there's no other way to put it than to say it's a problem of coaching.
But thank you so much for coming on. But I can only ever imagine a Pitso Mosimane coaching in Nigeria that needs to beat a South Africa in order to qualify for the World Cup. What a story that would be.
I remember he saying that, and he said on your show, and he said that, well, work is work. He will have to do his job. It will be difficult, but he will have to do his job.
Well, I can tell you now, Pitso Mosimane is a very wanted man. There are offers, particularly from the Gulf region, that have come knocking already to say, hey, Pitso, are you coming? Are you available? So, if Nigeria are to make a move, there's no better time than right now.
Yes, that right now. Yeah, thank you.
Well, I trust you. They listen to you. Hopefully, they'll hear what you have to say about this.
I have my friends in the NFF. I'm going to talk to them.
Let's hear what they got to say. I'd love to see it. I appreciate you. Thank you for always coming on. Where do people find you? How do they follow you?
Thank you. Omar Akatuba on Twitter. OMAAKATUGBA. Across all social networks. That same name.
Omar Akatuba, friend of the room.
Yes.
Harry Kane is scoring the opener for England. It's 1-0 after 32 minutes have been played of football. By the time we get off the air, I think it'll be just after half-time, so we'll keep you updated with the scores there. There is a big game a little bit later on this evening. It's Italy versus Spain, a big one at 9 o'clock, so you can catch that one. We'll report back on it tomorrow. It is a group, what group are they in? Group B clash, that one. With Spain already with 3 points and Italy with 3 points, topping that group with Croatia and Albania. Now, last week, I think it was, 2 weeks ago, in fact, we had Rodney Ramagalela come on to the show. We're speaking to Rodney Ramagalela about the current state of his life, and he was sharing with us that he'd love to get back into football. His house burning down, he was not able to resurrect his house or build it back up, something that he had worked his entire life for. Then he had a series of misfortunes, with his daughter passing on, his mom and his dad shortly after that as well, and saying he needs another, or wants and would love to get another opportunity to play. And then we started speaking about finances. I wanted to know, a player that has played at the level that he has played, playing for a team like Mamelodi Sundowns, how far did the savings or the money that he made take him? He articulated that he didn't play all too long or all too much at Sundowns, but at Black Leopards, where he started his career, he shared with us that he was getting paid 2,500 rands, to which the TDL family, who are the executive owners, of course, of Black Leopards, felt they needed a retort to that. They felt that was untruthful and needed a right of response. Well, we said, as per usual on the show, we'll bring you on. So, joining us on the line is Samuel Kapate, who's a Black Leopards manager at the time that that contract was drafted and given to Rodney Ramagalela. Chifuya TDL also joining us, who is the chairman of Black Leopards. Gents, thank you so much for coming on. Chief, always great to have you on.
And thank you for giving us the opportunity. Maybe let me just hijack before even Sam comes in to appreciate you. I listened to the interview yesterday. Normally most people who are journalists, they're more about tabloid. They don't look at both sides of the story. Same thing like you're doing now. So, let me say it on air. I spoke to your producer yesterday on the side. I'm just saying, let me say it out there that, with journalists like you, people will be able to correct the wrongs that they've done, and you've shown fairness and neutrality in anything that you ever discuss. Thank you.
No, and it's exactly that, Chief. Whether I agree or not, whether, I like it or not, it's not about me. It's about this thing that feeds so many people in this country, including myself. I get to come on the radio and speak about football that I love, and it pays me and my children's bills. So we can't take it for granted. It's bigger than all of us, and it's important, and just like you feel this thing that you invest so much money in, that's why you're here, to protect its name. Please, if you could just, Chief, tell us, we know who you are. You're chairman of Black Leopards. You've been in and around football for as long as we can remember. But if you can just perhaps tell us who Samuel Kapate is.
This is Samuel Kapate, was involved obviously in the development of Black Leopards. He is one of the longest serving general manager and at the team. At the time of the set, the likes of Ramagalela is the one who spotted most of the players that we've ever had at Black Leopards. Sam was instrumental. I think he's only left the club a few years ago to pursue other businesses, but obviously he keeps a close eye to the team. He's actually the one who brought this to my attention, because me and you spoke about it off air, and I told what the issue was, but I said, we'd leave it. But Sam felt a bit aggrieved to say, such things, going to lie or giving incorrect information, it's got an impact on the brand. He may not be at the club, but he knows the time that he spent and what is built can easily be destroyed. Think of maybe sponsors that are out there. It says something about our reputation to say maybe, they abuse people, because that's what it sort of insinuates. And the conversation you asked about money from everywhere else, and it was not said. There's even other contracts that came after that with huge money and all those, but it was not mentioned. Then it becomes a worry. But I want us to go deeper into it. Sorry, Andile.
No, please, educate us.
Where I wanted to go is the many players who play football and end up with nothing. It's something that is constantly happening. And we don't say anything to players. We'll blame the teams to say, why don't you hire him there? Why don't you do this? We've done our part. We hired these people. They got paid big money. They need to be able to learn to invest. We've got players who played overseas in Europe, whom we struggle to bury because they do not have no money anymore. And no one is saying anything about those things. But it's like team owners all the time. That's why I was touched last night when you are showing the other side of the coin. Some people will cry and say, you're selling the team. What about the supporters? But somebody just said that 51 supporters. How do you then keep the team there when there's no people? You see, in Bloemfontein, you can fight for them. In Thohoyandou, I explained to you that is the reason why we took money to go buy another team, because those people, they come in. I can tell you this weekend, there's Champ of Champs. It's the playoff for the third or fourth division. Thohoyandou Stadium will be packed to rafters. So that's where you then get pushed to say, we can't leave these people with nothing. But some areas there's nothing. So it's got to be balanced. And like I said, I'm happy that, you do for both sides and make sure that regardless of what you feel, but you want neutrality and everything to be out there.
So before we speak to Samuel, we'll do an intro and, hear your side as well here. I just want to play the clip that we have from that conversation I had with Rodney Ramagalela. Have a listen to this. Rodney, and I'm just asking here because I don't know better, right? Does this mean that Rodney didn't save, doesn't have money?
Ramagalela never had money. When I was playing Andile, I think we should be honest today. When you're playing for Black Leopard, remember you're getting 2.5 when you start.
2.5 what?
2,500 rand. You are playing for Black Leopards. They are still in NFD.
They were still in the NFD. So is this a month? 2.5, is it a month or a game?
A month.
Okay. And, were you at any point, Rama, and I use Sundowns because we know Sundowns to be the benchmark for finances in South Africa as far as paying. Were you at any point, but at least he was a millionaire. He made money from football.
No, I never made a million in football.
Ever?
Never.
So that was the bigger conversation. Samuel Kapate, who, of course, at the time was the one responsible for such things at Black Leopards when Rodney Ramagalela was signed at Black Leopards. He was the manager of the team. Samuel, thank you so much for joining us. What do you remember from this time when Rodney was there? If memory serves me correct, and I could be wrong here, you'll know better. This was between 2008 and I think 2013.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andile. It's just that sometimes I've been long out of football. And you are quoting something of about 15 years or 16 years ago. But I will say something under correction because I don't have any paperwork in front of me now.
Okay.
But I will just say what I will recall. I think it was on 2008.
Yeah.
I was the general manager for Black Leopard. And I was the one who signed contract to look after players. And I recruited so many players, young players, and Rodney Ramagalela was one of them. Ramagalela used to play for our development team called Pungo. There was one day when I go and watch their matches playing. And I spotted this guy called Ramagalela playing as a striker. Then I asked the people who was running that team, where is this boy coming from? And they tell me where Ramagalela comes from. And I talked to him, and I found out that his background was very poor, so to say. So I go to the chairman and say, Chairman, this boy, I think, and I've seen the boots he's playing with. I spoke to the chairman. I said, Chairman, I'm asking if I can help this boy every month so that he can have some boots and have this and that. So I came with a plan to make a check every month for him. He was not playing for the club at the FNB at the time. He was playing for Pungo Football Club, which was our development side, and where there was no any payment from the side by that time. So I make a plan so that Ramagalela can get 1,000 rand every month. So every month I used to write a check for him. He comes, collect, he buy whatever he buy. So it went on that in 2010, 2011 season. That's the season where we got promoted. That's the season when we finished and we played 2011. We went and played the final of the Leopard, if I may recall. That's when I promoted Ramagalela to the first team, which was at the first. By that time, Ramagalela was earning 5,000.
Okay.
Yes, and there was bonuses. You know, when I structured this contract, there was bonuses which these guys get per match, but the basic salary was 5,000. And it went on, we get that promotion. That's where also Ramagalela's contract was upgraded to an amount which I think, I don't want to.
Well, I think Samuel, Ramagalela opened this bag of payments. So I think it's fair if you're going to come on and we speak about what you are saying is retort, that you tell us. You're saying, once you did sign him, his first salary was 5,000 with bonuses. But ultimately, once you got to the PSL, is what I'm understanding you're trying to say now, you were paying him how much?
25,000.
25,000.
Yes.
Okay. So can I Chief as well? I mean, you can come in at any point here. There's 3 signatures that go in your contract. AR initialed, I'm assuming is Ramagalela. And then there's MC. Who's MC? Who also initials your contract?
MS is me.
You're MIC. And then MS?
No, MS. MS is me.
MS is you. MC
yes.
or MIC? MK, is there somebody else? There's 3 people.
No, I think that was me. It was me and the player.
Okay, because I've got the contract in front of me.
Yes.
That speaks, and I'll just read it very carefully to you here. It's a duration of 5 years, is what it says. Commencing date, 1st of January 2000. At first, it says 1st of August 2008, and then the August and the 2008 are scratched out, and it's 2009. 30th of December 2013 is the termination date, right?
Yes.
Name of the club, it says Black Leopards FC. It's the standard fixed term contract of employment for professional footballers. Street address, corner president. I'm sorry, I can't read the other one there, in Makado. With the telephone number that starts with the 015516. It still had a fax back then, also starts with the 516. Name, Ramagalela Rodney Azutamise. Street name, it's got his street name there in... I think that's Zanin, I'm not sure. That's not very clearly written. With his telephone number and his ID number. Once again, those 3 signatures are on that. And on the page that now speaks about money, this is on the contract that Rodney still has.
Yes. No, I'm not disputing that.
No, but let me finish here. Brasamo. Terribly sorry. Let me just finish here. Then there's a schedule. This is on 20.2.
Yes.
Right? You understand that contract better than most. Page 14. 20.2, where it begins with saying no latitude extension of time and other indulgence which may be given to allow you understand that statement pretty well, right? And then there's a schedule underneath. The schedule speaks about a basic salary of Rodney Ramagalela per month from the 5th of January 2009 to the 30th of June, is what it says. And in the contract that has got your initials and his initials here, it says 2,500 rands.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm not disputing that. But what I'm telling you, if you listen to me carefully, I said from 2010, 2011, that's when I promoted Rodney to the first team.
So, but then what I'm trying to get
So now you are reading the contract of 2009, 2010, which he was still playing for Pungo.
The contract here is not for Pungo. The contract here is for Black Leopards.
So, Andile,
okay, let me clarify you on that one.
Please.
You sign a player from a development side.
Yeah.
So that you give him a contract, but he's still playing for development side.
Ah, okay.
But,
so you keep him there to develop.
The time you promote him, you upgrade his salary. That is not a contract which is in your hand. We do the other one, the agreement with him, whereby maybe he didn't send you that one, which says 20. If you can ask him, he can tell you. He knows that I don't lie for things like this. I was very honest with players and very honest everything I do. He can recall also that when he starts by the first team, 2010, 2011, he was earning 5,000. He can assure you on that one.
Can I perhaps say something here, Samuel Chief as well?
Yes.
I think that, and definitely, and I agree, because I do know that at the time that he comes back, the last stint that he had with you guys, I think was earning very well, Rodney, there. Triple figures, if I'm not mistaken. Probably 80 to 100,000 rands is what he was earning. And yes, I remember the 25,000 rands one as well. But Chief, is it perhaps not incorrect for Rodney to say that he earned 2,500 rands? Because at some point he did earn 2,500 rands at Black Leopards. I think what he should have done or should have said is that yes, it got better. But I don't think he's wrong in saying at some point he earned 2,500 rands. Just like you're not wrong in saying that at some point he earned way more money than 2,500 rands. What do you think of that statement, Chief?
It's also weird because it was even specific. That's why I'm saying the intent, because you further asked him to say at Sundowns, how much were you earning? You also asked him to say you've never had $1 million. I can tell you when he came back to Black Leopards, he was not earning less than 100,000. If you take 100,000, multiply it by 12, because he was there for a season, it's 1.2 million. And he's been to Chipa, he's been to Golden Arrows. But just to come in and where it is, like what Sam is saying, currently we're in the NFD, in the first division, right? We've got players whom we've signed with low contracts. Now, some they've been signed for four years. Should we get promotion, we write to the players to say, instead of getting 10,000 now, you are getting 40. So if that player comes later and have a copy of the contract that only said it's 10,000, even in the second and third year, you will think, or that's what it is. And it gets increased where we don't go change the contract because the player is ours. We just increase the thing. So we are saying on our side we can even come and bring bank statements or proof of payments to show that this has been paid. I'm just saying this bends the image of the club. It's like something that is like we are abusing.
I completely understand.
He specifically said he doesn't have money because he was playing for Black Leopard in the NFD.
Chief, sorry, I'm going to let you carry on in 2 seconds. Rodney wants to come on. Do you mind if I put him on?
Not at all.
Brother Samuel?
Yes, I now don't have a problem, boss.
Okay. I just want to put him on because I think I understand both sides of the story, but I only know it from what's in front of me. I understand that Rodney, of course, at some point earned 2,500 rands, and I understand that you saying at some point you increased it. So I see, where the mishap is here and why you'd feel aggrieved as well, Chief. I completely understand. But let's just put Rodney on as well, because also the team, which you've just gone and bought back, that you've just gone and spent money on, it means a lot to you. It's a team that you want to see back in the PSL, and one that you'd like to see, attract sponsors as well. So it's an important thing. Tim, do you have Rodney on? All right, Rodney is coming on. Rodney Ramagalela joining us in the conversation. We are speaking about the contract. Rodney, hi, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, Andile, and the listeners, and the chairman also, and Mr. Ncube.
Rodney, I haven't spoken to you, so I don't even know what yours is in this conversation, but you've heard what Chief has had to say. You've heard what Umpati Wabukapati has got to say.
Yes, I read them, what they're saying. I just want to correct something here, Andile. I was signed for the senior team in 2019, January. That's the copy of the contract that you have.
Yeah, 19. Is it 2009 or 2019?
It can't be 2009.
Sorry. 2009.
Yes, 2009 to 2013 was the first contract.
Yes, the contract that I'm referring to, it was not a development contract. There was no any contract in a development team. It was a card that we were using for the league that we were playing, which was Castle by that time. So the contract that they are referring to, I don't even know where it is, who signed it, where it went, because it never came to me.
Which contract are you talking about?
I'm talking about the contract that they said I have signed, which is saying I was earning 5,000 rand in 2010, 2011.
So you never earned 5,000 rand?
The time the team was playing in the final of Nedbank, where I was top goal scorer, that's the time that I was told I'm earning 5,000 rand, and I was earning that 5,000 rand. But my contract never started at 5,000 rand. It started on 2.5, and I was in NFD. That's when it started.
So maybe a question, Andile, because it's confirming what Sam was saying.
No, go for it.
How many years did you play in the first division for Black Leopards?
I played from 2009 January until 2011 June, when we get promoted.
Okay. Now you are saying with your mouth to say when you were playing, the amount was there's a period where you were earning 5,000.
What I'm saying is that, Chief, when I started, I'm not saying along the way. When I started from January 2009, I was earning 2.5.
And this was your professional contract in the first division?
Yes, this is the copy of the contract that I'm having in my hand now.
And you were not playing development football, you were playing professional football in the NFD.
I was already promoted.
Chief, I'm not sure if I actually think that, Rodney, yourselves, you're saying the same thing. Rodney is not wrong in saying that at the beginning of his career with you guys, his professional contract was 2,500 rands. And you are saying that, yes, you never amended the contract, but along the way, you then went to give him 5,000 rands, which he agrees with as well.
Yes, that's why I'm saying intent. Out of all his interview, the whole interview, you asked him if he's got money. And he says no. I was earning 2.5 at Black Leopard. That's why I'm asking the duration of that time. And you must also ask him when he started, because we get young players. I don't want to seem like we're hiding anything. We'll get players who are young and just do a small contract.
Chief, I'm going to play it again because I think the misunderstanding perhaps might be in what Rodney says, even in the clip we played. He says, when I started at Black Leopards, I was earning 2,500 rands, even in the clip we played.
So the impression that it creates is when he's at Black Leopards, that's why I want to get duration. If you were at Black Leopards for 2 years or 3 years, and maybe you earn 2,500 for 6 months, that can't contribute to you not having money.
Rodney, the other thing that Chief is saying...
You were talking about money.
Rodney, if you can just answer me this, because the other thing Chief is saying is that you were a millionaire at Black Leopards because you earned $1 million in your last season there.
Andile, remember when you're working, you don't earn that money and save it as it is. You have kids. You have something that you need to do. I was still building I was still have to buy things in the house. I'm not blaming anyone for my situation. I was unfortunate not to have anything at this point. And it's not because I misused my money. Now I was just referring to something that you asked me to say, Ramagalela, when you didn't ever make $1 million now. I said, Andile, it's very difficult to make $1 million when you started with 2.5. That means from 2.5 you're going to get 5,000 rand. From 5,000 rand you're going to get 25,000 rand. From there you're going to get 50,000 rand and then 70,000 rand. When are you going to make $1 million if you still have to eat? If you still have to maintain a life at home and improve the situation where you stay at home and still have something that is yours?
Chief, I think it's fair to say that both of you are saying the same thing. You know, Rodney says at the beginning of my career, I started at 2,500. If you start at 2,500, it's going to take a long time to get to a surmountable amount that you are saving. You are saying that he should have at least said that at some point he started earning more, which he didn't say in the initial interview. But I think where we are now is we're all saying the same thing.
But Andile, you asked about $1 million. I'm saying at his stint at Black Leopards, he did not earn less than 100,000, which in 12 months will make more than $1 million. I haven't counted Golden Arrows. He left and went to cheaper. He was at Sundowns. He did earn that. And that 2.5 as a starting point cannot be an issue. You know what also hurt? Me and you discussed, and our issue of discussion was to say we want to help him. Him as well, he can tell you, a month ago, I met him in Palabur at this thing and said, how's things? He says, they're not fine. I said, call me. Let's see what we can do. Let's try and find something. He called me and I said, dude, when the season is off, let's try and see, let's talk, and then we can try and see what we can do. But when it comes now, the impression that it creates to say, he should be happy. You know, when he left Black Leopards, it was relegated, and he said, no, I want to bring this team back. We said, no. Go to Sundowns where you can get to make money. We don't want to keep you here. We never keep any player. You know, they say Lamudaus, I sent off. So I'm just saying, that created a little bit of bait test in our mouth to say, is that really necessary, whether it's true or not? Was that really something that he needed to go bring to say he doesn't have money because he started by 2.5?
I know you personally, and I hope that this, which I think is a misunderstanding, if anything, doesn't stop you from doing what you wanted to do. Because literally, when we look at the situation, his understanding is that the 100,000 he was earning, by the time you're earning that for that one season as an upgrade in a career that spans 10 years, is not enough for you to have saved enough money to live the rest of your life. I think we're saying the same thing. The beginnings of 2,500 make it difficult to get to high amounts. But I don't think we're too far from each other here. And I hope that we find a way to find each other, Chief, even after this conversation with yourself and Rodney and Samuel, because I can tell you now, I've read many articles, and Rodney's never spoken badly of your team. Even when the article came out, I think it was SABC's Ntombi at the time who wrote the article in the City Press. Rodney never said a word wrong about black leopards. I just don't think that this misunderstanding, which is a misunderstanding, Chief, I don't think it should be the end of what is a great story between the two of you.
I hear you.
Thank you very much, Rodney.
Andile, I think the other thing, Andile, you have got a contract in front of you, which is about, I think it's a 5-year contract.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there is no other amount written there. It's only the 2.5 which you are seeing.
But as he explained as well, to say yes, at
Yeah,
some
no,
point
that's
he earned 5.
that's I want to clarify something, Uri. The way I used to do things, you can interview all the players which were under me. What I used to do, if the contract is 5 years like that, you can find that there are players which ended up earning 50,000 rand, 30,000 rand, 25,000 rand. But if he can bring the contract now, you can only see the 2005 which is written.
Yeah, but
like
that's something that needs to change, Chief, moving forward. I hope that's something that you're going to fix. But unfortunately,
yeah, that is an olden days what we used to do things. Now it's
Chief, expect
you think
a call.
about 15 years. We're talking about something which happened 15 years ago.
No,
We will
Chief,
discuss it when we have our interview about us and Black Leopards.
thank you very much. We're going to get out of here. Chief Tidiela, always appreciate you. And I hope that we come back and we tell a happy story of what is going to happen with that union. From myself and my entire team, Pela Nganzomi.